Hello everyone and welcome to a battle featuring myself as the Beastman, leading with Taurox The Brass Bull, up against DahvPlays under the guise of Modrin Orain, I think I said that right, as we take the battle on Herod Ridge, him leading the Lizardmen with Kroq-Gar and myself as the Beastman. Now as soon as we get into this battle, I am going to put it on slow-mo since the action does kind of start somewhat fast. I want to go through a few things on both of our armies here. So let's get in here and hit that little slow down button. So taking a look at DahvPlays' army, I'm very interested in what he's been trying to do lately. He does bring Kroq-Gar here with the Skink Oracle to give him some healing and some range support. It's very expensive. I think together these guys are probably around 4,500 to 5,000 gold depending on how you kit them. On the Oracle, he did only bring Harmonic Convergence and Earthblood just to buff up Kroq-Gar and keep him alive. And he's got a Skink Chief up in the air with the, well, pretty much just only with Slippery and just a whole lot of ammunition. 82 shots, it can do a lot of damage over time if it's allowed to keep firing. DahvPlays did mention this, or did showcase this replay on his recent live stream, so I'm going to put a link down in the description for his channel as well, since he also gave me a bit of a shout out. The rest of his army, he's got Skink Cohort with Javelins, let's see, a lot of Saurus with Spears, and Skink Skirmishers, as well as, well, more Skink Cohort and more Javelins there. So very heavily on the Skirmish core there with the Skinks. And he also has Powhawks' Sentinels up here in the air, Regiment of Renown, Pterodon Riders. Those guys can do a lot of damage. As for my army, bringing in some Chaos Warhounds, Tuskor Chariots, who are quite a bit broken at the moment. A lot of Goreherd with Shields, a unit of Harpies, Ungor Spearman herd up in the middle, but the main thing is I brought all three of the new Beastmen toys. We've got the Jabberslath, or as I like to call him, the good boy. He reminds me of like a bulldog or like a Frenchie. My favorite type of dog personally, and this guy reminds me a lot of them. I mean, he's a lot more hideous, but the terror he causes, anti-infantry, I really like him and I just love his animations. The Creative Assembly did amazing with him. Taurox The Brass Bull coming in here fully kitted out with all of his abilities, flaming attacks, his own self-preservation buff. Sadly, he doesn't really have access to his own healing as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think there's any healing in the Beastmen roster. But he does keep himself alive very well. 130 armor, 500 weapon strength, and amazing weapon stats. We also have in the trees the Gorgon himself, who I think is a little underwhelming. I think he should be toned up a little bit. Maybe given some more mass or make it so that he can actually not get stunned so much, because that's kind of his problem, is he gets hit by a big monster, he takes a lot of recoil, and it takes a while for him to actually do his attacks. But if he can do his damage, he will do a ton of it with 57 melee attack, 520 weapon strength, which I believe also has 25 bonus versus large. No, it's actually 30, but 420 of that being armor piercing, so Gorgon can do a lot of damage. I also have some Goreherd with shields up on this side. Bray Shaman with the death magic. Again, that Tuskor Chariot, very, very powerful. I do love the effect on this guy as well, the purple armor. I think that's exclusive for the Death Mage, but I think it's really cool. And round out the build, we also have a unit of Blackhorn's Ravagers. Let's go ahead and speed it up now. We're going to try to reposition our army as he's moving his Skink Skirmishers around. And we get a very lucky dodge here in just a moment. Kroq-Gar is going to fire off the Hand of the Gods, and completely unintentional by me just moving the army. He will actually perfectly dodge that in just a moment here. I think Kroq-Gar is lining up his shots. We're just trying to reposition our army, and look at this juke, just absolutely perfect. Looks like the actual shots went right in between his wings there, so Jabberslath missing a huge amount of damage that Kroq-Gar could do. That would probably taken him down at least 2,000 health, and maybe 1,500. Would not have been good. I'm going to start casting Spirit Leech on that Skink Chief because I have no real way to deal damage to him. I brought no archers at all, so all I can really do is poke him down with magic, or maybe get the Harpies on him, but I'm going to try to get the Harpies on the Powhawk Sentinels. Now the engagement will begin soon. Jabberslath is going to try to chase down these Skinks, but they're going to run away, so we're immediately going to go in onto Kroq-Gar, I believe, any second now. No, we actually send the Doggos up first. I think they're just going to reposition here. Taurox diving into the Saurus Spears, but he takes a lot of damage from both the Skink Chief and the Troglodon, just chunking his health down. That Troglodon can do a ton of damage. So in a moment, we're going to realize this is not where Taurox wants to be. We need to get out of here, pop the Blood Beast, and get out of there as the Jabberslath attempts to drop the People's Elbow on Kroq-Gar, but he manages to dodge that. Harpies up in the air fighting against the Powhawk Sentinels. They should beat them in melee. as the Gorgon comes in now. Bray Shaman of Death running through about 10 skink cohort, getting a lot of kills there. And then from here, we're going to start chasing down all of the skinks with our mobile units. Tuskor chariots going in here, doing whatever damage they can. On the far flank here, we actually had Blackhorn's Ravagers get in on the skink cohort with their stock. They're able to get in unimpeded, and they'll easily win that fight. Right now, this Jabberslide just getting gooned up on. We do get the Gorgon in here. He's going to start to try to get some attacks on, but it looks like he doesn't actually make any contact with the skink, sadly. I think all that damage came from the Jabberslide, who's taking a lot of damage. The Jabberslide's still going to try it, but this is what I mean. He gets hit from behind. He kind of staggers. Taurox coming in with a Somersault of Death, though, right onto Kroq-Gar, who activates Swiftness of Eatsoul. And that Skink Oracle boosting up his melee stats with Harmonic Convergence. Going to be much harder to take him down. The Gorgon's trying his best, but he's just not making good contact at all. But our Jabberslide going around, just killing off the Sora Spears, Doom and Darkness on them just to make them rout instantly and take damage over time from the Jabberslide. We do have Tuskor or Ungor Spearmen here in the combat, as well as some Gorehorde with shields getting stuck in. But yeah, I mean, this Skink Oracle really fighting very well, especially with Harmonic Convergence. Not taking much damage from that Gorgon, so we're going to try to disengage as another Spirit Leech goes on in the Skink Chief, not Spirit Chief. Again, it's just a massive monster mash that's happening over here. Powhawk Sentinels coming back from routing. We need to get these Harpies back on them. But the main engagement is going to be over here. He does disengage with Kroq-Gar, so we're going to try to chase him down with that skink. Or not with the skink, but with the Gorgon. Bray Shaman of Death kind of just sitting idle now. We realize we're not going to keep up with Kroq-Gar. He's too fast. So let's move in and deal with other aspects of his army like we can. Jabberslide's going to keep doing consistent damage, but look at this. Hand of the Gods comes in. Massive damage on that Gorgon, and then I believe with the Skink Chief and the Troglodon double-shotting him, that does take down the Gorgon. Another big weakness of the Gorgon, not much armor and a very big profile and a big threat, so he tends to get shot down very quickly. I had another replay that Dav did feature on his live stream where he brought the Gorgon, and I was able just to chunk it down super fast with Oxyotl and Salamander hunting pack. So over here, the Blackhorn's Ravagers already up to 100 kills just on skinks, but they are doing their best work. They are still fresh as well. Tons of kills on those guys. Only losing 3 models and maybe a fifth of their hit points, maybe a little bit more. Honestly, they're probably a very good unit that I'd probably recommend using in this matchup a lot. Jabberslide going into combat though with Kroq-Gar down here. We do get the surround on Kroq-Gar with the Warhounds, who decides to start attacking them. But then he goes in and gets a big hit here on the Jabberslide. 700 damage with all those buffs, 576 weapon strikes. That Jabberslide decides, you know what, I don't want to stay here and fight a T-Rex anymore. Let's get out of here. Skink Oracle's going to line up a shot, and it gets this double shot. First shot hits, it still lives, and then the second shot hits the bullpup right as he tries to fly up and away. And that's something I believe is fixed in the live version of the update when it drops for everyone. I don't think that the skink is going to get that double shot anymore because it is a huge amount of burst damage. Kroq-Gar is stuck in here. We do try to use Doom and Darkness, but he gets away. Kind of counters that cold-blooded, but he still has lots of leadership, and granted that he got out of that engagement there, kind of a waste of magic. It's not going to do anything to him. It was a good try. Maybe if we kept him in this kind of contained region, it would have been okay. But now we still have some Chaos Warhounds next to these skinks. We're going to try to chase down the Skink Oracle now that he's left alone. Kroq-Gar ran really far away. Taurox is in there just screaming out that Spinosaurus. And we're going to chase him down with Tuskor Chariots. And at this point, just get him the heck out of here. He should break any moment now. The Skink Chief, though, doing lots of damage to Kroq-Gar. Or not to Kroq-Gar, but to Taurox. Only 10 kills, but if we check his damage profile here, 1100 so far. And Taurox is getting very low, only 1100 HP. And he's in an open field, not a place he wants to be. Tuskor Chariot's going to run into these Skink Skirmishers, though, send him flying, get quite a few kills. And honestly, very good damage on these guys, running into a few other Skink Skirmishers. And that's going to break their leadership as well. So we're going to try to recollect our forces here. I think these Gorehorde are kind of in a bad position where they're terrified from Kroq-Gar. Harpies are able to come back in, and we're going to peel off these Tuskor Chariots and let them just chase down the Skink Oracle all the way to the edge of the map. He's going to route off and get to the map corner, which is very far distance away, but I don't want any more magic and no more venom attacks. We're going to go ahead and try to take the fight to the woods here, chase off the Skink cohort while Kroq-Gar is still somewhat far away. A few random skink skirmishers over here. Kroq-Gar down to only 874 HP and slowly ticking down as this one skink. He's doing some jukes. He's dodging a few attacks here. Skinks do get in on the Ungor Spearman herd, but we're going to get into the woods. Still taking a few shots there. Taurox wants to be in the trees. He has Woodsman, so he does not take any debuffs from fighting here, but man, that tree did not block those pipes. He jukes another shot there. Kroq-Gar comes in for a big hit and misses, thankfully keeping Taurox alive for a little bit longer. And then we go in for the melee attack here. Kroq-Gar's buffs are going to be kind of running off their fumes as he has to run away from this combat. He does not have Woodsman, so he will be debuffed in the woods. And I realize, you know what? We're not going to be able to chase Kroq-Gar into the open plains. That's exactly what he wants to do. Harpies here actually do manage to get that Skink Chief out of here, thankfully, but they are very low on leadership. I think they took some javelins there. Taurox leading the way through the skink cohort with javelins. But at this point, Taurox is too exhausted. He is not going to be able to run through his own troops. And he takes a big hit there. I honestly should have just turned around. And one more tail swipe will knock him off his feet. And there goes Taurox the Brass Bull. So things are looking bleak. We have no leadership in this area. Terror is a very real threat and a very real possibility. Could definitely turn the tide. But he does know that Kroq-Gar is not going to fight well in these woods. So he's going to try to bait us away here. But look at that in the distance. We do have the Bray Shaman of Death and the Tuskor Chariots coming from the very edge of the map. Can they do it? Can we win this battle? Balance of power is in our favor, but if Kroq-Gar can take care of all this infantry and route them away, he will be able to turn the tides. But their leadership is holding well with the Gore Herd. Does activate Swiftness of Itzel, knocks them around. They still have a decent amount of health. They're willing to keep fighting. They'll beat these skinks for sure. They outsize them, outmatch them in combat, so they're not afraid of that. But a few Ungor Spearman herd are going to run away. However, Dahv doesn't have too much left. Just skink skirmishers and Kroq-Gar are remaining. I think everything else ran away. Another skink cohort with javelins, but all his Saurus spears are gone as kind of anchor. A few units in the back there, but they're really far away. He is going to break these Gore herd over here, and I think we still have Blackhorn's Ravagers. Yeah, 37 of them with 179 kills. Absolute just carnage happening here in the woods as these skinks try to run away and get together with the Carnasaur, with Kroq-Gar. He doesn't have any more Handle of Gods. He's already used that, but he's definitely made his value there. I think he's got 55 kills. Let's check that. 2,200, so probably very close to paying for himself if he hasn't already. But I think he's just under 3,000 the way he's kitted out here. I'd have to double check that. Skink Skirmishers nearly out of ammo. It looks like 3 more volleys from these guys, and these ones are actually out of ammo. But we get one kind of big kind of collapse here, big kind of last regrouping for the final charge. Ungors and the Bray Shaman going to run into these skinks and just do a lot of damage with those Tuskors. Followed up with the Ungor Spearman herds. If I was him, I would have maybe shot a little bit more ammunition before engaging here. He's going to send Kroq-Gar in to chase down the Bray Shaman, who is a little bit low on leadership and not great in melee combat, especially because Kroq-Gar is only tired and he's been fighting this whole time. He's terrifying away some of these Ungor Spear herd. Blackhorn's Ravagers able to chase off some of these guys, but here comes all 3 of the Tuskor Chariots, and there comes big damage on Kroq-Gar. With the rest of his skinks gone and him being the only man standing, he is going to fall here. He does activate his damage resistance buff, but just too late. Too many piggies around him, too many little satyrs with spears, and that will end the match. A very good game with DahvPlays. Hope to play more matches with him again in the future. That Skink Oracle, man, that poison attack with 150 bonus versus large, when he gets that double shot, it can do so much burst damage. This Skink Oracle getting 2,800 value there. Skink Chief 1,300 there. Kroq-Gar 2,600. Very much his army was kind of condensed into this kind of hero core. And these sort of spears, I was able to shut them down very early and use the Jabber Scythe and Chariots just to get them out of there. Engage them with the Ungor Spearman herds that they couldn't really get on the targets they want to be on. I mean, even Gore herds should trade very well into those. Skink Court with Javelins, I think I was just able to chase them down to a point and just make it so that they couldn't fire back. A couple of them, not really making value there. Skink Skirmishers, I think, did alright. I think a lot of the time, though, they weren't even firing when they were shooting, or they were firing at the Gore Herd, who do have a decent missile block chance. Taurox Sentinel is also getting kind of shut down by the Harpy, so good trade there. That Gorgon, though, worth about 2,000 gold, only making 500 in damage value. It just got annihilated. Jabber Scythe is worth 1,700, also only making 1,000 there. Big thing, though, Bray Shaman of Death getting 2,500 value, just charging in an infantry, casting those Spirit Leeches, he definitely was worth it. And these Tuskar Chariots, 1300 there. I think Blackhorn Ravagers were just about even. I was really impressed though with the Gore, this one getting 824 value, and those Warhounds cleaning up lots of skinks. Overall, great game to DahvPlays, and I hope you guys look forward to new videos in the future. Until now, farewell.